From translation, TLB the Living Bible this 142 day of the year. Today we are reading passages Ezra 4-7, Ezra chapter 4, verses 1 to 24. When the enemies of Judah and Benjamin heard that the returned exiles were building a temple for the Lord, the God of Israel, they came to Zerubbabel and the other leaders and said, "Let us help you build, for we, like you, worship your God and have been sacrificing to him ever since King Esarhaddon of Assyria sent us here." But Zerubbabel, Jeshua, and the other leaders replied, "You have no part in this project. We alone will build it for the Lord, the God of Israel, as King Cyrus, the emperor of Persia, has commanded us." Then the people of the land tried to discourage the people of Judah and make them afraid to work on the temple. They hired counselors to work against them during the entire reign of King Cyrus of Persia, and even into the reign of King Darius of Persia. Also during the reign of King Ahasuerus, they wrote letters of accusation against the people of Judah and Jerusalem. And during the reign of Artaxerxes of Persia, Bishlam, Mithridath, Tabeel, and the rest of their colleagues wrote a letter to Artaxerxes. This letter was written in Aramaic and translated. Rehum the commander and Shimshai, the secretary, wrote a letter against Jerusalem to Artaxerxes the king as follows. From Rehum the commander, Shimshai the secretary, and the rest of their colleagues, the judges, officials, and officers from Tripolis, Persia, Erech, Babylon, Susa, that is, the people of Elam, and the rest of the nations, whom the great and noble Osnappar brought over and settled in the cities of Samaria and elsewhere, in the land of west of Euphrates. This is a copy of the letter they sent him. To King Artaxerxes, from your servants, the men of west of Euphrates, be it known to the king that the Jews who came up from you to us have returned to Jerusalem. They are rebuilding that rebellious and wicked city and have restored its walls. Furthermore, they are finishing the work very rapidly. So if this city is rebuilt and its walls are completed, you will not have any territory west of the Euphrates River, because the people of this city will rebel. We are loyal servants of the king and do not wish to see the king dishonored. That is why we have suggested that a search be made in the ancient records of your predecessors, and you will discover from these records that this city has always been a rebel, causing trouble to kings and provinces. It has even been a den of rebels who have stirred up trouble in other provinces. That is why this city was destroyed. We therefore urge the king to issue a decree that this city be not rebuilt, unless it be done at the king's expense. Then the king sent this reply, to Rehum the commander, Shimshai the secretary, and the rest of your colleagues who live in Samaria and in the rest of the province west of Euphrates. Greetings, the letter you sent to us has been read and translated in my presence. I have issued a decree that search be made in the records of my predecessors, and from these records it is clear that this city is a rebellious one, causing damage to kings and provinces, and that in the past it has been a place of rebellion and revolt. Jerusalem has had powerful kings who ruled over the entire province west of Euphrates, and taxes, tribute, and tolls were paid to them. Therefore, issue a decree that this city be not rebuilt, unless it be done at the king's expense, and that a tax not be levied upon it from the royal revenues. Be careful to do this, so that nothing worse happens to you. As soon as the copy of the king's decree was read to Rehum and Shimshai and their colleagues, they went up to Jerusalem in a hurry and with the help of their associates, forced the Jews to stop their work. Thus the work on the temple of God in Jerusalem stopped until the 2nd year of the reign of King Darius of Persia. Ezra chapter 5, verses 1 to 33. Then the prophets Haggai and Zechariah, the son of Iddo, prophesied to the Jews in Judah and Jerusalem. They prophesied in the name of the God of Israel, who was over them. So Zerubbabel son of Shealtiel and Jeshua son of Jozadak began to rebuild the temple of God in Jerusalem, and the prophets of God were with them, helping them. But at the same time, Tatnai, the governor of the province west of Euphrates, and Shethar-boznai and their colleagues went to the Jews and asked, "Who gave you orders to rebuild this temple and to finish this building?" They also asked for the names of the men who were working on this building. But God was watching over the Jewish leaders, and the king's orders had no power to stop them until Darius could investigate the matter more thoroughly. This is the copy of the letter that Tatnai, the governor of the province west of Euphrates, Shethar-boznai, and his colleagues sent to King Darius. They sent him this report to King Darius. Greetings, as we were on our way to the province of Judah, we came to the temple of the great God in Jerusalem. The people were working with great diligence, and were finishing the building under the direction of Jeshua son of Jozadak and Zerubbabel son of Shealtiel, whom King Cyrus of Persia had appointed to build this temple. We asked the leaders, "Who gave you orders to rebuild this temple and to finish this building?" We also asked them for the names of the men who were working on this building. But they replied, "We are the servants of the God of heaven and earth, and we are rebuilding the temple that was built many years ago. One great king of Israel built and finished it. But after our ancestors angered the God of heaven, he handed them over to King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, who destroyed this temple and carried the people away to Babylon. However, in the first year of King Cyrus of Persia, King Cyrus issued a decree that this temple of God should be rebuilt. He even removed the gold and silver vessels from the temple of Babylon and gave them to Sheshbazzar, whom he had appointed as governor. And he told him, "Take these vessels and go to Jerusalem, place them in the temple of God, and rebuild the temple of God on its original site." So Sheshbazzar came and laid the foundation of the temple of God in Jerusalem, but work on it has not yet been completed. Now, may the king search the records of his predecessors in Babylon to see if this decree was issued by King Cyrus. If it is true that a decree was issued by King Cyrus, then let the king search in the royal archives in Babylon to see if this decree was issued by King Cyrus, and then let the king's pleasure be concerning this matter. King Darius then issued an order to Tatnai, the governor of the province west of Euphrates, and to Shethar-boznai and his colleagues who were to carry out the work in that province. He said, "Leave the work on this temple of God alone. Let the Jewish leaders continue building it, as King Cyrus of Persia has already ordered. Furthermore, the expenses of this temple are to be paid from the royal treasury, from the taxes of the province west of Euphrates, so that the work will not be stopped." King Darius also issued this decree. I, Darius, have issued a decree that search be made in the archives in Babylon in the royal palace where the treasures are stored. And so a search was made in Babylon in the archive where the treasures were stored, and a scroll was found in the palace of Ecbatana, in the province of Media. In this scroll it was written, "In the first year of King Cyrus of Persia, King Cyrus issued a decree concerning the temple of God in Jerusalem. Let the temple be rebuilt on its original site, and let its foundation be laid." King Cyrus also said, "The gold and silver vessels of the temple of God, which Nebuchadnezzar took from the temple in Jerusalem and brought to Babylon, are to be returned to their proper place in the temple in Jerusalem. They are to be carried back to the temple of God in Jerusalem, each to its own place." So Tatnai, the governor of the province west of Euphrates, Shethar-boznai, and their colleagues carried out this order promptly and carefully. They also assisted the Jewish leaders with the building of the temple of God, and the Jewish leaders continued the work with the encouragement of the prophets of God and of Darius the king. So the temple was completed according to the command of the God of Israel, and according to the decree of Cyrus, Darius, and Artaxerxes, kings of Persia. The Jews celebrated by dedicating the temple of God with great joy. They also offered sacrifices according to the requirements of the law of Moses, the man of God, and they celebrated the festival of shelters, as prescribed in the law. The priests and Levites purified themselves according to the requirements of the law of Moses, and they purified the people, the gates, and the wall. Then they brought the ark of the covenant of God to its place in the inner sanctuary of the temple, the most holy place, and set it up there. And there it is today. The people of Israel celebrated the Passover, as prescribed in the law of Moses. They ate the Passover lamb and the unleavened bread for 7 days, as required by the law of Moses. Ezra chapter 6, verses 1 to 22. Then King Darius issued a decree, and search was made in the archives, where the treasures were stored in Babylon. And a scroll was found at Achmetha, in the palace that is in the province of Media, and this was written in it. In the first year of King Cyrus, the king made a decree concerning the house of God at Jerusalem. Let the house be built, the place where they offered sacrifices, and let the foundations thereof be strongly laid. The height thereof 60 cubits, the breadth thereof 60 cubits, with 3 rows of great stones, and a row of new timber, and let the expenses be given out of the king's house. And also let the vessels of the house of God, of gold and of silver, be restored, and brought again to the house of God at Jerusalem to their places, and put them in the house of God. Now therefore Tatnai, governor beyond the river, Shethar-boznai, and your colleagues the Apharsachites, who are beyond the river, do not hinder the work of this house of God. But let the work of this house of God go on unto the finishing thereof, as the God of Israel hath commanded, and as ye have commanded. Moreover, I make a decree what ye shall do to the elders of these Jews for the building of this house of God. That of the king's goods, even of the tribute beyond the river, forthwith expenses be given unto these men, to the end that they be not hindered. And that which they have need of, both young bullocks and rams and lambs, for the burnt offerings of the God of Israel, and wheat, salt, wine, and oil, according to the appointment of the priests which are at Jerusalem, let it be given them day by day without fail, that they may offer sacrifices of sweet savour unto the God of heaven, and pray for the life of the king and of his sons. Also I have made a decree, that whosoever shall alter this word, let a timber be pulled out of his house, and being set up, let him be hanged thereon, and let his house be made a dunghill for this. And the God that hath caused his name to dwell there destroy all kings and people that shall put to their hand to alter, and to destroy this house of God, which is at Jerusalem. I, Darius, have made a decree, let it be done with speed. Then Tatnai, governor on this side the river, Shethar-boznai and their companions, according to that which Darius the king had sent, so they did speedily. Moreover the elders of the Jews builded with all their might, and prospered through the prophesying of Haggai the prophet, and Zechariah the son of Iddo. And they builded and finished it, according to the commandment of the God of Israel, and according to the commandment of Cyrus and Darius and Artaxerxes kings of Persia. And this house was finished on the 3rd day of the month Adar, in the 6th year of the reign of Darius the king. And the children of Israel, the priests and the Levites, and the rest of the children of the captivity, kept the dedication of this house of God with joy, and offered at the dedication of this house of God 100 bulls, 200 rams, 400 lambs. And for a sin offering for all Israel, 12 he-goats, according to the number of the tribes of Israel. And they set the priests in their divisions, and the Levites in their courses, for the service of God in Jerusalem, as it is written in the book of Moses. And the children of the captivity kept the Passover upon the 14th day of the 1st month. For the priests and the Levites had purified themselves together, all of them were pure, and killed the Passover for all the children of the captivity, and for their brethren the priests, and for themselves. And the children of Israel that were come again out of captivity did eat, and kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with joy. For the Lord had made them joyful, and turned the heart of the king of Assyria unto them, to strengthen their hands in the work of the house of God, the God of Israel. And the children of the captivity kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with joy. For the Lord had made them joyful, and turned the heart of the king of Assyria unto them, to strengthen their hands in the work of the house of God, the God of Israel. And the children of Israel that were come again out of captivity did eat, and kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with joy. For the Lord had made them joyful, and turned the heart of the king of Assyria unto them, to strengthen their hands in the work of the house of God, the God of Israel. And the children of the captivity kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with joy. For the Lord had made them joyful, and turned the heart of the king of Assyria unto them, to strengthen their hands in the work of the house of God, the God of Israel. Ezra chapter 7, verses 1 to 28. Now after these things, in the reign of Artaxerxes king of Persia, Ezra the son of Seraiah, the son of Azariah, the son of Hilkiah, the son of Shallum, the son of Zadok, the son of Ahitub, the son of Amariah, the son of Azariah, the son of Merioth, the son of Zerahiah, the son of Uzi, the son of Buki, the son of Abishua, the son of Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the chief priest. This Ezra went up from Babylon. And he was a scribe skilled in the law of Moses, which the Lord God of Israel had given, and the king granted him all his request, according to the hand of the Lord his God upon him. And there went up some of the children of Israel, and of the priests, and the Levites, and the singers, and the porters, and the Nethinims, unto Jerusalem, in the 7th year of Artaxerxes the king. And he came to Jerusalem in the 5th month, which was in the 7th year of the king. For upon the 1st day of the 1st month he began to go up from Babylon, and on the 1st day of the 5th month he came to Jerusalem, according to the good hand of his God upon him. For Ezra had prepared his heart to seek the law of the Lord, and to do it, and to teach in Israel statutes and judgments. Now this is the copy of the letter that the king Artaxerxes gave unto Ezra the priest, the scribe, even a scribe of the words of the commandments of the Lord, and of his statutes to Israel. Artaxerxes, king of kings, unto Ezra the priest, a scribe of the law of the God of heaven, peace, and so forth. I make a decree that all they of the people of Israel, and of his priests and Levites, in my realm, which are minded of their own free will to go up to Jerusalem, go with thee. Forasmuch as thou art sent of the king, and of his 7 counselors, to enquire concerning Judah and Jerusalem, according to the law of thy God which is in thine hand, and to carry the silver and gold, which the king and his counselors have freely offered unto the God of Israel, whose habitation is in Jerusalem, and all the silver and gold that thou canst find in all the province of Babylon, with the freewill offering of the temple, and of the princes, and of the people, and of the priests, to bring unto Jerusalem, that thou mayest buy speedily with this money bullocks, and rams and lambs, and their meat offerings and their drink offerings, and offer them upon the altar of the house of your God which is in Jerusalem. And whatsoever shall seem good to thee, and to thy brethren, to do with the rest of the silver and gold, do after the will of your God. The vessels also that are given thee for the service of the house of thy God, deliver before the God of Jerusalem. And whatsoever more shall be needful for the house of thy God, that thou shalt bestow it out of the king's treasure house. And I, even I Artaxerxes the king, do make a decree to all the treasurers which are beyond the river, that whatsoever Ezra the priest, the scribe of the law of the God of heaven, shall require of you, it be done speedily, 100 talents of silver, and 100 measures of wheat, and 100 baths of wine, and 100 baths of oil, and salt without prescribing how much. Whatsoever is commanded by the God of heaven, let it be done diligently for the house of the God of heaven. Why should there be wrath against the realm of the king and his sons? Also thou, Ezra, after the wisdom of thy God, that is in thine hand, set magistrates and judges, which may judge all the people that are beyond the river, all such as know the laws of thy God. And teach ye them that know them not. And thou, Ezra, according to the wisdom of thy God, which is in thine hand, set magistrates and judges, which may judge all the people that are beyond the river, all such as know the laws of thy God. And teach ye them that know them not. And whosoever will not do the law of thy God, and the law of the king, let judgment be executed upon him with all speed, whether it be unto death, or to banishment, or to confiscation of goods, or to imprisonment. Blessed be the Lord God of our fathers, which hath put such a thing as this in the king's heart, to beautify the house of the Lord which is in Jerusalem, and hath extended mercy unto me before the king, and his counselors, and before all the king's mighty princes. And I was strengthened, as the hand of the Lord my God was upon me, and I gathered together out of Israel chief men to go up with me.